I was in Cleveland, Ohio, working for a little arts magazine, and I came up with this cooking column to go cook with various chefs in town. And one of the the most notable chefs, was a guy named Parker Bosley. I don't know if anybody knows of Parker Bosley, but he was one of the first, certainly the first in our part of the world, and among the first who was asking people to develop relationships with farmers, to eat seasonally. These things weren't being, this was not part of the national discussion. He was one of the first people to do it. And he was very sort of persnickety, fussy chef who was very outspoken. So outspoken, in fact. He was a gay chef, and very outspoken. His restaurant in Cleveland was actually burned to the ground, which is very sad. Anyway, certainly great publicity, and he continued to, he reopened. I went to see him in his new restaurant, and I said, "How do you roast a chicken?" We're talking about this. I said, "Well, how do you roast a chicken?" He said, "Well, I put it on a bed of mirepoix, and I roast a chicken." I said, "Chef, what's mirepoix?" And he gave me a look of such withering disgust. I mean, I just felt it at my core. And I could just see it. He was too nice to really say anything. But I knew exactly what he was he just stared at me. You were the problem, he was saying to me. You, writing about food, you know nothing about food. How can you write about food when you don't know what mirepoix is? That was a revelatory moment for me. That was when I thought, okay, I've got to learn something first. I've got to, and all the chefs that I was writing about, they all graduated from the CIA in Hyde Park. And I sensed that there was, we went to chefs, not because chefs had recipes, there were recipes all over the place. Chefs had something that recipes didn't have. That's why I wanted to go write about these chefs and cook with them in their kitchens. And then I thought, well, I'm going to go to the CIA and write about becoming a chef. I was actually writing this proposal when my mom called me. It was July of '95, I believe, saying, "I've got to see this couple on the Today Show. They've just written a book on becoming a chef." I was like, mother. They beat me to it. That was my first word about you guys.
You got to later.
I got the CIA in preparation for this. I got the CIA cookbook, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It was a big cooking text, and it wasn't based on recipes. It wasn't organized by all the cookbooks I had were appetizers, chicken, beef, desserts, that kind of thing. This cookbook was organized by techniques. It was organized by sauté and roast. And I still couldn't really understand it. And it wasn't until after I went to the culinary and realized that there was that it was all about technique and not about the recipes. That it really became so obvious to me that recipes really don't mean anything, or can be a hindrance without technique. And so I sort of devoted all my time to learning technique, talking about technique, and it really it became clear to me gradually throughout. But I went to talk to this guy, Uwe Hessnar, who was a chef instructor, a wily old German guy there. We were talking about the culinary arts and what are culinary arts all about. He had a wall of cookbooks, shelves buckling under their weight. He says, "I can show you what's in all of these in 2 pages, everything." I said, "This is what I'd like to see." And he turned around, handed me a sheet of ratios that he made, like 32 ratios, 35, 40 ratios, page and a half mimeograph sheet, handed it to me and says, "I would like to sell that for $50, but no one would buy it." I knew right then that he was wrong. I started looking at these sheets. I looked at hollandaise, and he'd broken hollandaise down to its essentials. I mean, we learned in culinary school that you make a reduction of cider vinegar and black pepper and shallot, and then you strain that, and then you whip the eggs, cook the eggs over heat, and then you pour in the clarified butter, and you had hollandaise. You season it with lemon, season it with salt. That was hollandaise. He'd broken hollandaise down to 2 ingredients: butter and egg yolks. take away one of those and you don't have a hollandaise. Take away the cider vinegar, you can still have a hollandaise. So he'd broken a recipe down into its fundamental components. And this idea so transfixed me that I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I had a friend write these ratios, and Hessner's ratios. I put them above the sink so I just sort of gaze at them while I did dishes. After I wrote The Making of a Chef, got what amounted to a gift from God, and was invited out to the French Laundry to work on Thomas Keller's cookbook. And he said, "No, Michael, I don't want a regular cookbook. I want a book filled with stories. Write a book that's filled with stories." And so that's what I tried to do. And one of the things that I think makes that book successful is that, I saw stuff that I had never seen before. I'd never seen people poaching butter and lobster and butter. That was really cool to me. Keller wasn't the first person to poach lobster and butter, as he would be the first to admit. It's been, a lot of people have done it before. But we took that technique and we called attention to it. All the stuff that he was doing with foie gras, we didn't do foie gras recipes, we did sort of a whole section on working with foie gras. People continue to buy them. For home cooks and chefs, it remains a good book for a lot of reasons, but one of the things it showed me was that people really are interested in technique. Again, Uwe's notion of ratio, so, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So 10 years, 12 years after that meeting in his office, I said, I've got to explore this in a book and see what it is. The fact is, hollandaise requires water, not egg yolks so much. If you run out of water, it will break. But so I wanted to look at this whole idea of ratios and really explore it. And that's basically my career and the ideas that led me away from recipes. Now I'm coming back. Well, actually, I'm writing a book just on technique. But once, I'm finding myself, I'm returning to recipes. I'm finding in them more inspiration than I ever have, but only now after I've learned the technique. And that's all I have to say about that. I look forward to having a conversation afterwards with all of you and talking about recipes. What do they mean? How are they changing? What do we need? How will they transform in the digital era? And what do we want? Who are the people who are making them happen? Where should we direct them? So thank you.